With Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7 Dangerous Step releasing on Disney Plus tomorrow, I again thought it would be interesting to speculate on the next step in Ahsoka's journey away from the Jedi Order and her master Anakin Skywalker. So before we get into it, remember to subscribe to the channel to be notified as soon as I release my huge explainer and recap video when Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7 drops. The official description for this episode of The Clone Wars states, "Taken prisoner by the Pikes, Ahsoka and the Martez sisters attempt to escape." So right away, the description of the episode confirms that not only were the crew of the Silver Angel being held captive above the surface of the planet Obadiah, but that they were brought down and are now being held as prisoners of the Pike crime syndicate. This tells us that the episode won't start off exactly where we left it, but most likely from the prison cells of the crew. Seeing as Trace dumped the spice shipment into hyperspace during the last episode, the crew most likely don't have any options to bargain their way out of captivity by the Pikes. So for that reason, I'm going to make a huge call and say that Anakin will somehow feature in their rescue. Although this may not happen in this episode, I think there's a big chance we'll see him again in the finale of the arc. Having Anakin appear in the last episode may have just been a small little nod for the fans to keep us interested in the storyline, but I really do think that it was a small setup for something a lot larger going into the last episodes of the arc, and even leading into the Siege of Mandalore. Based on the short preview clip and the images released on the Star Wars official page, it looks as if Ahsoka and the Martez sisters are initially placed into a single cell together, but are later separated when Trace is singled out as the leader and brought to a different location. Based on Ahsoka and Trace's reaction to Rafa's return to their cell, on top of her body looking extremely drained and depleted, I think it's pretty clear that Rafa has been tortured by the Pikes for her failure to deliver their spice. It's possible that they are trying to extract information from her about the Twi'lek royal family of Kessel from the last episode, but it may just be punishment for her failure. After that, we see Trace becoming increasingly angry at the Pike guards, leading her to push one of them, who then proceeds to take her away. This is another shockingly stupid decision on the part of Trace, possibly even more stupid than dumping the spice into hyperspace. This time, however, Trace may pay with her life. Although it's unlikely that a main character would be killed off, it would add a great amount of depth to the character of Ahsoka going into the Siege of Mandalore, having witnessed the realities of life away from the Jedi Order. The images also show the group outside of the cell, confirming that they will figure out a way to escape from their cells. One of the images shows Trace holding a blaster next to what looks to be two other prisoners, possibly suggesting that Trace will attempt to free all of the other prisoners before leaving. I can definitely see a situation where the group has a clear opportunity to escape, but Trace holds them back in order to save the other prisoners. This definitely would fit with the character of Trace and her line from the preview clip where she says that it is something that her mother would do. We again see Ahsoka using the Force in these preview images, which seems to be a recurring theme throughout the arc. I think the sisters will eventually figure out that Ahsoka was at one point a Jedi by the end of the storyline, possibly changing their view on Ahsoka and casting her away for their own protection. After that, we see Ahsoka fighting hand-to-hand combat with 3 Pike guards, followed by the entire group smiling, telling us that Ahsoka most likely got the upper hand on these guards and that she may be very close to an escape. Finally, we see the entire group again locked up in the same cage as before, lending credence to the fact that they will ultimately fail in their attempt to escape, setting the stage for Anakin to rescue them in the next episode. Other than that, again, I don't think there will be any connections to the Siege of Mandalore just yet, but we'll definitely see connective tissue between the next episode and the Siege of Mandalore arc. So those are my predictions for the episode. Remember to subscribe to be notified when my recap of Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 7 releases on Disney Plus tomorrow. And also leave a comment down below telling me what you think will take place in this episode. Thanks so much for watching and have a lovely day. Hopefully tomorrow's episode is going to be amazing, so I'll see you all tomorrow on the channel for the recap.